When factoring quadratics with a leading coefficient that's not 1, the first thing we're going to do is take our leading coefficient and multiply it by our constant term. And so that's 3 times negative 10, which is negative 30. All right, then we are looking for a pair of numbers that multiplies to be negative 30, that adds to be a negative 13. And, well, you can go through the pairs, and I'm just going to assume that we can figure that out. That would be a negative 15, sorry, negative 15, and a positive 2. Okay, so negative 15 times positive 2 equals negative 30, and this adds to be negative 13. Okay, so this pair of numbers is what we want to use. And then what we do is we take this negative 13 and we write it out using those two coefficients. So minus 15x plus 2x. And now we're going to factor this by grouping. Okay, that's where we split this in half and we group the first 2 and the second 2 and factor common factors. So from this first pair here, we can factor a 3x out, and we're left with an x minus 5. And then for this second pair, we can factor a positive 2 out, and we're left with an x minus 5. Okay, and we're looking, of course, for that common thing that's left over. So we've got this x minus 5 left over. And what that means is we're going to go and pull that x minus 5 out. So we're left with x minus 5. And then what we're left with, after we pull that out, is the 3x and the plus 2. So this is times 3x plus 2. And this is our factored form of the quadratic. Let's go ahead and do another one. This is part B. So we're going to start off by taking the leading coefficient and multiplying by the constant term. So 6 times negative 4 is a negative 24. And we're looking for a pair of numbers that multiplies to be a negative 24 and adds to be a negative 5. And that is negative 8 and positive 3. And we take that negative 5x and we write it using those two numbers. So we write it as minus 8x and plus 3x. Okay, now we factor by grouping. So there's our two groups. From this first group, we can factor a 2x out, and we're left with a 3x minus 4. And from the second group, there's nothing in common. I am going to write it in parentheses, though, just so that we can see more easily that same term that we can, that same factor that we can pull out. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and pull out the 3x minus 4. And when we pull that out, we're left with the 2x, and then plus a 1 right here, so plus 1. And there's our factored form for our quadratic.